start with?
Well, Judge, actually, there's been some amended filings as of late Friday, which I think really takes care of the special exception. What we filed these motions for is we're trying to figure out, number one, who is the plaintiff, and number two, what damages is the plaintiff seeking? Now, the amended filing of Friday takes care of the who is the plaintiff. So at this point, we're going to pass on the special exceptions.
Okay.
And so we'd just like to take up the motion to compel on the plaintiff's disclosure response. And there are several issues raised in the motion, but the only one I'm going to really focus on today, Judge, is the damages. As the court knows, economic damages are required to be set out and itemized in a disclosure response. What we've got from the plaintiff is basically, I'm seeking $74,000 and some change from you, and then see these documents produced. It's like a 12 or 13 page Bates label range that the plaintiff cites to. But when we look at those pages, it's a series of unsigned invoices from the plaintiff to the homeowner, not to us, and they total $147,807.50. So the disclosure also references some offsets being included, and here's what you owe me. But Judge, we just can't figure out what we owed, what's the basis for what they say we owe, what damages is the plaintiff seeking, because when I look at the disclosure, it gives me a lump sum, but that lump sum doesn't add up when I look back to the documents referenced in the disclosure response. So that's kind of where we're at right now, Judge.
Okay. Response?
Sure. So these invoices that are pointed to, I guess maybe they add up to 147. Mr. Powell must not see that there's been payments made on the invoices, and so that gets us that offset of whatever was paid gets us to that number of 74,000. So I mean, the disclosures are quite clear. We have a breach of contract case against a general contractor Uphold Designs was the subcontractor, and he owes us $74,000 and some change on the total of the invoices, and it's laid out pretty clearly in those disclosures. And so it is listed, and it points to the invoices that have this calculation in it. And so really, I'm not quite sure why we're here today. The special exceptions were kind of just as frivolous as this one. It seems, honestly, I mean, just a way to just run up costs for this guy, because he just, it's only $74,000 case, and the more you pay your attorneys, obviously the less that 74,000 goes down. So
my understanding is that you have to itemize and do a calculation based on each element of damage, and so I don't know exactly, Mr. Powell, what is it that you think he should do that he hasn't done?
Yeah, Judge, absolutely. So if it was as simple as looking at the invoice and it said, hey, I billed you $150,000, you paid me $75,000, you owe me $75,000 more, then maybe pointing back to that invoice is a fair way to disclose the damages. But in this case, I've looked at them. I can't piece it together, Judge. So what we're asking for is, what is the total amount of the contract you claim exists? What have we paid you? What are you owed? That's the itemization of the damages that's required to be included. And if this was a frivolous motion, Judge, we would chase them around for months, and they wouldn't have filed a new pleading on Friday right before the hearing, finally identifying the plaintiff that has the legal right to bring this claim. So I do not appreciate that statement as well, Judge.
All right, I'm going to order that the calculation be made of, what is the amount that was owed under the contract, and then what is the amount that's been paid. Provide that calculation and see if you can't get that within 2 weeks. Mr. Powell, go ahead and prepare an order to that effect. At the beginning of the order, it should say this was heard on October 24th, 2022, and then go ahead and get that to me by tomorrow morning, share it with opposing counsel, email my court coordinator, as well as e-filing it as well. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys have a great rest of your day, all right?
Thank you, Judge. You as well.
too. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.